Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Cocktails and Conversations with A'Driana LaFaye. Today I have the amazing Leoneh Charmell. How you doing?
Hi, how are you everyone? My name is Leoneh, but you can call me Leo, and I'm the editor of the Books Savant.
Wonderful. So yes, she is the founder and editor of the Books Savant. So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about you, Leo?
Well, I'm originally from Venezuela. However, I moved abroad to England when I was around 17. I finished high school here, which high school here ends at 16 and not 18 like in America. And I moved there to study English literature. So I've always been a bookworm. But after I finished studying English literature, I had kind of like a dream of becoming a doctor. So I came back here and started studying medicine. It didn't work out. I went back there. And then I decided to found the Books Savant.
Nice. And so for people who are not familiar with the Books Savant, what is the Books Savant?
The Books Savant is a self-publishing business. We are not a vanity press. We are not hybrid, which means that we don't publish your book. We just offer services for indie authors, and not indie authors too, because some authors that want to go traditional also hire editors for their stories. Mm-hmm. And that's it. We offer cover interior layout design, which is also known as formatting, editing, web design for authors, banners for the websites of the authors, images for the books, everything. We have everything.
Okay, perfect. And so guys, I wanted to have Leo on today to discuss the best editing mistakes to avoid. Yeah. Okay, what about not asking for free sample edits and then hiring the wrong editor?
I think that's the main issue here. Mm-hmm. There is a drama on Book Talk, which is the book part of TikTok, about editors right now. Yeah, I found out like 2 days ago, and of course I needed to put my 2 cents there, and I uploaded a video. But editors, let's say it like that. Editors are like shoes. Mm-hmm. If you buy a shoe that it's not the proper size for you, if it is too big or too small, the only thing you're going to accomplish, no matter how much you try because the shoes are beautiful, it's your feet hurting. And the same thing happens with editors. It's not that the editor is bad, it's that the editor is not good for you. Why is that? Because we need to feel to the author as if we are an extension of the author's voice. But we editors have our own voices too, of course. Mm-hmm. But some of us are able to adapt to other voices. And that's why you feel as if it is an extension of your own voice. Okay. And that's why some authors feel as if editors just silence their voice, or they're going to chop their story or change it to how the editors feel. And that's the thing. The only way for you to know which editor is right for you is to ask for free sample edits. If the editor is legit, the editor is not going to have any issues in giving you one. The only thing is that some offer more words than others. Okay. Some offer 1,000 words, others 1,500 words, others 2,000, other an entire chapter depending on the number of pages, other order that for pages and not words. But when you compare, as an example, you send 5 editors a sample edit of the first 3 or 4 pages of your first chapter. Okay. You're going to read the changes because the editor is going to use track changes. So if the editor is legit, for sure, track changes is basically like suggestions on Google Drive, but on Microsoft Word. It's very similar.
Okay.
And then you're going to see in red, you're going to see everything that the editor is suggesting. You can accept or reject that, and compare all of the samples, and you see like, okay, this one is like better for me. This is something that I would have said, but I didn't find a way to say it like that.
Okay.
And that's how you find an editor that fits for you. Because otherwise, believe me, there are going to be a lot of issues between you two. Because you're not going, it's like clashing, like water and oil or something like that. It's just going to clash.
Yeah, that's such a great point. And I've never even thought about asking for sample edits. Like, honestly, that's just never, I wonder how many people don't know that. I did not know that you could ask for sample edits.
A lot, believe me. I'm like in a bazillion groups on Facebook, which is where you usually find new authors.
Okay.
Young and old, no matter the age group. And they always ask, like, I just finished my manuscript, I need an editor. And I always put like a super long comment where I say, is this your first draft? And I put between parentheses, a first draft is just as soon as you finish writing the story and you haven't self-edited. If it is your first draft, then you should, before hiring an editor, let your story rest for at least 2 weeks and then go back to your story, self-edit the story, then let it rest for another 2 more weeks, and then self-edit again, because you at least need 2 self-editing batches of yourself. And after that, when you have like the 3rd draft or the 4th draft or even the 5th, and you think that you need an editor, well, perfect. Go and look for an editor, but always ask for a free sample edit. And then you will see which editor you should hire, because editing is expensive.
Yeah.
Good editing, good proper editing is expensive, and it's completely necessary. Of course, one of the videos that I saw on TikTok is that editing, some people said that editing was a privilege, and it's not a privilege. A privilege is to hire and pay for an editor. But there are other ways of finding editors too without having to pay them. There are like a bunch of new editors that just want to create like a portfolio of clients, and they edit for free at least some chapters. There are other authors that are very good with grammar and with other things like plot holes, characterizations, and you could change that because that other author doesn't have the money, and you said, okay, take this, if this is my manuscript, you edit it, and then I will edit yours for you, like bartering. There are several ways, but you always will need an editor, always.
Wow. So a lot of people recommend Fiverr. Have you heard of Fiverr, and do you recommend finding someone on there?
Oh yes, I have Fiverr.
Okay.
Before founding the Books Savant, I actually started my freelance business per se, just with editing. I didn't offer anything else because I work by myself. And after that, I started using these platforms like freelancer.com, upwork.com, fiverr.com, people per hour, which is a British one specifically.
Oh, wow.
And those places is where I found my first jobs and all of that, my first gigs. In Fiverr, the difference between Fiverr and those others is that in the others, you ask for what you want to hire. So you put like, I'm looking for an editor, I have this story, is this genre, blah, 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 blah. I'm offering this amount of money for it. And then you as an editor, you create an offer for that person, and that person is going to see if they hire you or not. Fiverr is different. In Fiverr, you create a gig. As an example, I'm an editor, and I'm going to edit your manuscript for this amount of money. And you have like a normal, a very one that it's for a very small fee, then an intermediate, then a premium one. But what's the thing? That people hire other people on Fiverr, it's for the number of stars they have. And a lot of them just offer their services like for a very, 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 very small amount of money, because they are not professionals per se, but they know that not many people have the amount of money to pay for professional editing as it is. So they hire them like, oh, look, they have 253, as an example, reviews of 5 stars.
Okay.
They have worked with more than 5,000 people, of course, because you end up paying $100 and you receive a manuscript. You are trusting that person, but you don't know what you're receiving.
Oh, wow.
That's the big issue with Fiverr, that everyone can open a gig. The competition for the money is like a lot. So you will find people with very, very, very small amount of prices, the thing that they want. They charge very little, but they don't know what to do. I found editors from India, from Africa, that have English as a second language, which is not an issue, but that actually are not good at English.
Okay.
There is one of those that I found that basically I wanted to help her, because I'm not going to say where she's from or who she is, but I wanted to help her. So I gave her some tips to improve, to start. I recommend her to start only doing beta reading instead of editing, because in beta reading you will start doing a lot of things, and then after you have done a lot of beta reading, a lot of criticism, that you know how a story is supposed to be structured, you can do structural editing, because you won't need a lot of grammar, transitions, which are more done in line editing and copy editing. Because all of the levels offer different things. But when it comes to language per se, the prose, the grammar, all of those are done in line editing and copy editing. Developmental editing is more a content, the structure. So I recommend it, and she always ended up asking me what she should put in everything. And I was like, oh, okay, I will help you this time. No, yeah, once more. And then she got upset because I didn't do her work for her. And I was like, why? I'm just helping you. I'm not charging you anything. And like her, there are a lot of people that, of course, what's the word? I don't want to be impolite, but they see an opportunity with authors that don't know anything about what they're doing. A lot of people, I've seen people that doesn't even have an education, like a high school education, and they want to write a book, and it's okay. There's no issue with that. There are things like talents. You sometimes are born with certain talents without issue, but they don't know much more of what they're going to need for editing per se.
Right.
So they will deliver a manuscript to an editor, and the manuscript will have a bazillion tenses, a bazillion POVs. It's not going to have differentiation if it is limit or unlimited when it comes to point of view, because it's like they talk. And if the editor also doesn't know all rules and what it should be done, okay, someone is paying me $100 for just run Grammarly or ProWriting it over their manuscript, and no, it's free.
You just said a whole mouthful right there. So
yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I'm really like that's so important, and you are so right. And I that's why I wanted to have you on, because I feel like this is such an important topic that a lot of people don't really talk about. And then as self-publishers, like you said, especially if you're starting out, you don't have. Some people, have the funds, but most people don't. And so then they try to take shortcuts or what have you. And you find out in the long run that it's not worth the shortcut. It's better to just go ahead and find the editor that works best for you. And I think that you are amazing. All the tips that you have provided are great, and it's such needed information, because I know a lot of people do not know this.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. So if someone wanted to reach out to you and connect with you, how can they get to you?
They could find me on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook, and on my website. My website is thebooksavant.com. My TikTok account is under my name, which is Leoneh CH in the end. It's spelled LeonehCH. And on Instagram and under The Books Savant too, and Facebook also The Books Savant. they can find me here at any time.
Awesome. And so one last thing, with sample edits, do you have like introductory, well, not even sample edits, like, do you have any introductory, like prices, or do you normally do promotions? Do you have anything like that?
Yes, right now I actually have a 25% discount in all of my editing services.
Oh, wow.
And I always do discounts. I've done discounts of 30, 40, even 50%, because I know, especially with this COVID issue, that a lot of people lost their jobs, that they are just depending, as an example, in America, they're just depending of that check that they receive. And I know it's very complicated. And I also do special cases. If you don't have the money, I offer payment plans and all of that. My sample edits are always free, always free. And the prices of all of my other services when it comes to editing depend of the number of words and, of course, of the level of editing that you're going to need. If it is an editorial assessment, developmental, line, copy editing, proofreading, or if you need me to do all of those at once, because all of those levels at once is called comprehensive editing.
Okay.
It's an editor that does everything, all of the levels, but at the same time. However, when I do comprehensive editing, I do break everything in 4 stages, 1 per each level. And when you hire me for all of the levels, I have packages for that. I have a comprehensive pack. I have one that it's called grammar pack, which is an editorial assessment, copy editing, plus proofreading. I have other that it's prose pack, which is editorial assessment, line editing, plus proofreading. I have semi-comprehensive packs, which is an author that doesn't need, because there are authors that have a beautiful prose, like Skylar Shore. Yeah, I'm basically promoting her. But she has an amazing prose, and she never needs line editing. But sometimes she does need developmental and copy. Okay. You know, to fix all of the grammars, the punctuation. So those are semi-comprehensive. Okay. And yeah, I offer all of those things you can find on my website. Also, I also offer other services like cover design, formatting, which is interior layout. Oh, before I forget, I know that sometimes fonts are very hard to get. Mm-hmm. And spending a lot in a book is very difficult for many people, but try to at least hire a cover designer. Why is that? Because that's the first hook in a book. Right. Yeah, that's the thing that the reader is going to see. Imagine that you are not only on Amazon, but in the store, in a bookstore in your town, and you found a way to sell your book in that bookstore. And the reader is going to go through the shelves to the genre they want, and they will first see the title of the story. If the title is something that grabs them, they're going to take the book out and look at the cover. If the cover is like blah, they're going to put the book back there. But if they love the cover, they're going to turn the book around and read the blurb and read the summary. And if the blurb is like blah, they're going to still put the book in there. So it's very important to have something that it's eye-catching for the reader.
I agree. That's what actually attracted me to you on Instagram, was your logo. I was like, oh my gosh, that is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. We also make author logos. That's my brother-in-law. My business is all filled with family. Okay. I'm the editor. My sister is the interior layout designer. My brother-in-law is the graphic designer that does the book covers. My niece, she is a prodigy. She has 16 years old. She is the content creator. So all of the beautiful things that you see on my Instagram that match and it's kind of like a puzzle, all of those things are created by her. She is amazing, and she's excited because she's getting paid. Okay,
Right.
as you're going to do this outside your school hours and all of that, and you're going to spend time that you should spend studying, working for me, I'm going to pay you. Yeah, yes, I'm going to use the money to buy the entire Sarah J. Maas books. And I was like, okay. Because we all are book obsessed, and she's obsessed with Sarah J. Maas right now.
Aww.
She's on that stage. So yeah, everything that she earns, she spends buying books.
Well, that's amazing. You really don't find people her age that like to read. I mean, being honest, that's amazing. Well, Leoneh, I have so much enjoyed our conversation today. You have given us a plethora of information and great tips, and you guys look her up. If you're an author, you're upcoming, you're thinking about it, obviously you need an editor, reach out.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome. Thanks again. And guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Don't forget to share. All right, guys, see you next time. Bye.